natural calamity happens, if a hurricane comes, tsunami comes, earthquake comes, and this 6-year-old baby dies, what character, what lesson, what character that 6-year-old is going to build? Where is the rationale behind it? Why there is so much suffering in the world? This I want to go a layer deep. Guys, namaskar. Welcome to the second episode of Why There Is So Much Suffering in the World. If you have not watched the first episode, I'll highly recommend you to please go and watch the first episode first and then come back here. In the first episode, we talk about the dualistic nature of the universe, why there is good and bad both, why, for example, if the sun shines, it's because the darkness is there. If you're able to walk on the earth, because gravity is pulling you down, all the way to if you are able to breathe in because you breathe out as well. In that episode, we also cover the distinction between you suffering versus you being in the moment of suffering. And we also talk about navigating how to come out of those situations. So highly recommend you to go and watch that episode before coming here. It's very much like a building block to this episode. So in this episode, we'll talk about suffering from the lens of situations, context, at a bigger, larger scale, and how to navigate that. First, understand as best as we can what the rationale behind that is and how to navigate that. In the next episode, we'll talk about on the individual level suffering that happens because of our family members or our managers, our relationships, and so on. So contextual or situational suffering that happens, few good examples are the political environment. For example, what is happening around between Ukraine and Russia, what is happening between Palestine and Israel. Other ones are socioeconomical. Greece, but it went through ups and downs last few years. Venezuela. A lot of African countries, they have been going through this turmoil from last many decades. Other ones are natural calamities. Japan goes through tsunami almost every 2-3 years, big or small. Afghanistan, the recent earthquake that happened there, or the hurricanes that happen in North America almost on a yearly basis these days. So when you or your family, or if you know somebody, that family, that person is put into these situations, it becomes difficult to justify why is that happening to them. One simple answer to this is, when you go through the tough times, it prepares you for the future situations. Okay, I can live up with that. Like, the tough times make you stronger, and when the real challenge comes up in life, you are prepared for it. Like, you go through the very tough 4 years degree, engineering degree, and when you graduate, when you're thrown into the world, you can manage because you have done the studies there, right? You go through a very tough army training, so when you're in the war zone, you can actually manage. So this makes sense from that lens that, yes, if the tough time comes, you're able to manage. Second way to explain this is, which I think is a little bit more deeper to understand why, out of all those things that I mentioned, for example, political situations, natural calamities, and social economical situations, the social economic one and the political one are more related to this reason, which is inherently people find differences between one and another. This is the crux of it, in my belief. I fundamentally will go ahead and find a difference between you and me, and once I've done this, and this could be anything, this could be the language we speak, the skin color, or the religion, or the part of the world we come from, whatever that common denominator we find, I will say I am different than you, and then whatever piece of resource that is available, it could be river water, it could be the mines, it could be the dollar value or the NFT or the cryptocurrency, whatever the resource there is, I would go ahead and say, this is not for you, but for me. Fertile piece of land, I wanted. Why? Because my people and I am better than your people and you are. Could be family differences. The entire countries are set up like this. But I am different than you. I am better than you. This is the crux of the problem, I believe, and it snowballs into bigger effects of. Right? So first is that I am different than you, and the snowballing effect, one of the effects of that is the greed. I want this, I want this, I want this. My country wants everything. For some time it may work, for some years it may work. If this entity is big, country is huge, maybe for decades it may work. For East India Company, the colonial rule, it worked for centuries, but it did fire back afterwards. And that actually is, the more I think about it, that actually is a very precise example. They thought because we look different, we speak different language, we seem to be sophisticated, which means we are better than you. And you all are savages. For example, not that I'm trying to dig up the past. Point I was trying to make is, number one is, through difficult times, character is made. Agree. Second one, human inherently define the differences between each other, and then those differences turns into distinction, which means I am better than you, then whatever resources are available is for me and my people and my family, and so on and so on. You and your people and your family, then I lose the empathy, I lose the compassion, because you're not mine. It doesn't matter what happens to you. This is one of the major reasons why political war zones and casualties that happens, unfortunately. Don't forget what happened with Second World War, Holocaust. Why? Because you are different than me. So if you are thrown into gas chamber, I don't care. Why? Because I think I'm better than you. This is the crux of the problem, if you think about it. From this lens, I can still wrap my head around, okay, this is why suffering happened, because somewhere in the past, or some political leader is either instigating the entire country, or because of his greed, he's thinking he's better, he is different, and he wants certain things in his favor, and the war happened because other party didn't want it. So I can understand that, right? Makes sense. What is difficult to understand is, if something like that has happened, why a 6-year-old has to lose entire his family? What character you're gonna build out of that person? 6-year-old baby. That's one. Second thing is, if a natural calamity happens, if a hurricane comes, tsunami comes, earthquake comes, and this 6-year-old baby dies, what character, what lesson, what character that 6-year-old is going to build? Where's the rationale behind it? Why there is so much suffering in the world? This I want to go a layer deep. Let's understand this from the karmic perspective. Law of karma. You sow the plants for cactus, and it comes Diwali, it comes Christmas, and you want mangoes instead. Will that happen? Try as much as you want. What you will get is cactus. This is the fact. This is the cause and effect theory. This is how it works. In the world of karma, the variable that stays is time. What I mean by that is, if I do something unfortunate, unpleasant, intentionally I hurt somebody, I will get the results back. The cactus will come back to me. But will it come back tomorrow itself? Will it come back 10 years down the line? Will it come back 10 lifetimes after? I don't know. But it does come back. I want to call out one more peculiar thing between the Eastern paths of spirituality versus the Western one. There are a number of different parameters on which Eastern paths themselves don't quite agree on. They have their own viewpoints, all the saints, sages, and the scholars and acharyas, they have their viewpoint. On two things, they somehow, all of them have agreed, which is nice. What are those two things? One is the law of karma. Second one is reincarnation. I just wanted to call that out right now here. And the reason I'm saying this because of variability of time. That's why I'm trying to connect the dots here and trying to understand why suffering from the deeper layer. All this is to understand why suffering, why that 6-year-old dies. What character is going to build? What's in for him? Where's the free will of the God? Things like this. So I'm trying to understand this from the deeper level. Let's assume it's not me and you. Let's assume it's Gautam Buddha or Buddha. He's walking the streets. The earthquake has just happened in the morning. He's walking the street and he sees the situation. For me and for you, we are seeing, looking at the smaller time window, what is just happening right there, and we are trying to understand. But Gautam Buddha might not see this. Buddha might see a huge timeline, and he might be able to understand the rationale behind what he sees in front of him, why it happened. Let's take a small detour here. There's a story that comes to my mind from Mahabharata. Bhishma Pitama was lying on the bed of arrows, about to die. He's one of the characters in Mahabharata who dies in the battlefield, and when he dies, he was shot so many arrows that he literally was on the bed of arrows, is how we say it. And Krishna was there next to him, and he asked Krishna, Bhishma, "Hey Krishna, I'm dying in the battlefield. I know why. I also know my last 20 births. I don't understand why am I dying like this in the battlefield? Why am I dying on the bed of arrows? That I am not able to understand. Why such a death for me? You claim, Krishna, that you know the past and the present, you know this and that. You claim yourself to be thee, a reflection of thee. Why?" And Krishna tells him a story that something that he has done in the 21st birth prior. He hurt somebody in such a way that the karmic law came back to him. Now that this is how you will die, Bhishma. And this story is very close to me from understanding a lot of perspectives of life. Many a times we are not able to see through why is something like this. For example, the situation of earthquake, the Buddha walking. We are not able to understand that. But somebody like Buddha is seeing much longer time period. And that's why I was saying the law of karma, that time is the variable. Keep this in mind, that time is the variable. Self remembers that. Whoever the self is will remember that. And then consciousness has the intelligence. So because of conscious intelligence, the karma sticks with the self, and consciousness finds a way that you get to repay the karma, if not in this birth, in the next birth. My guru used to say, karma follows the soul as a newborn calf follows his mother. Even in hundreds of cows, he will know who his mother is and is going to go after her. This is to understand, trying to understand why suffering at a deeper level. So I'll try to wrap this up now. 3 different layers we looked at suffering from. 1, the very surface level layer, which is very useful to us, that is, tough times make stronger character. Second one, because humans, especially the ones who are sitting on the top in political chairs and social economical ladders, they see differences between one another. And based on those differences, they go after the resources. The ripple effect of that is either the social economical disorders or the war zones that have been created. Third one, to understand at the most deeper level, is the karmic law, and then time is a variable. I hope this makes sense from the suffering standpoint, that larger scale when things happen. We don't know why these things happen. Now, the bigger question is, okay, so what do we do about it? My simple solution is nothing. Don't focus on why this is happening to me. Focus on navigating it out. Find a way out. Look for the solution. head for the solution, pull yourself together. If you remember the previous episode, find the window in the room. Just trying over and over again what has happened to you, or feeling sad about this, or looking into the past will not help. Pull yourself together. Be courageous. Fight the battles. With this, I wish you all the very best. In the end, I bow down to the divinity in all of you. Hey guys, if you like the video, please like it, subscribe it, and share with your friends and family. If they find value in it, they will thank you. Also, in the description below, I've added a few really good, very valuable guides for you, all of it for free of cost. Number 1 is Digital Detox, 7 proven tips in terms of how to stay aware and in technology, but at the same time, stay away from it. Second guide is 7 signs that you're living in your universal harmony. Please check it out. The third one is a resource booklet that I've created, the list of all the books, videos, documentaries, podcasts that would help you in your life, professionally, personally, and understanding deeper layers of life. I've also published a book, Discover Your Dharma as It Is. It's on Amazon. Check it out. It's full of interactive stories, interactive exercises, and the definition, interpretation of Dharma, which is more meaningful, more useful in the modern context. Thank you very much. And if you have any more questions, please reach out to me. Thank you.